The Firearms Control Amendment Bill has come under fire from several lobby groups who say it will destroy the ability of vulnerable citizens to defend themselves. The groups argue that the failure by police to protect communities has compelled more citizens to do something about their own safety. The amendments will, among other things, remove self-defense as a valid reason to own a firearm. To speak more about this, we are joined by Damian Eslin, who is the chairman of the Gun Owners Association of South Africa. Damian, very good morning. Thank you for speaking to us. I suppose recent events have in many ways put a spotlight on this bill and the fact that self-defense is no longer a satisfactory means of applying for a gun license.
That's correct, Hugo. Thanks to you and thanks to your viewers. Absolutely. So, SAGA, the South African Gun Owners Association, we believe in the right of our law-abiding citizens to choose to own a firearm for self-defense, hunting or sport shooting or business purposes. And certainly what has happened recently with the unrest in KZN and Gauteng, a lot of law-abiding citizens are exercising that right to choose to own firearms for self-defense and upskilling and uptraining themselves with regards to the use of firearms. Recently, I was in KZN over last weekend, and I met with a lot of community leaders and role players, as well as people in the training and firearms industry. And there's been an upsurge in citizens attending to their competency trainings, and they're saying it's about 4 to 5 of the volumes that they're dealing with. So I actually was watching one of the training sessions, so the numbers have increased dramatically, 4 to 5-fold now, Hugo.
Now, Damian, while all of that is understood, we also noticed that a little over 30 people in Phoenix, in KZN, were killed, and that a number of firearms had to be confiscated from individuals and from security organizations. Doesn't this, in many ways, justify government's desire to change the law?
Look, by making more laws doesn't change the situation. What we need is effective policing. If someone breaks the law, the police must obviously follow through on their mandate to investigate crime. So I spoke to a lot of people in the community there, and I think what police is doing now is cracking down on essentially law-abiding citizens and soft targets again, rather than getting to the root of the problem and going after the criminals and those with illegal firearms. So certainly I think what we need is effective policing, and the police must investigate where they deem to be any crimes committed. But from what I'm understanding from talking to the communities and that, they will obviously exercising a right in self-defense in a terrible situation. I spoke, Hugo, to some of the people that were on the front lines, and they really thought it was the end of their day, the end of their life, end of their community and their family and their businesses. So they were, effectively defending themselves. And again, government is going after soft targets and not going after those criminals and those who are actually doing the looting and the distraction.
This change in the law, if passed, doesn't necessarily close the door to owning a firearm, does it? Because there are other means of getting a firearm outside of using self-defense as a reason.
Well, Hugo, the problem is that the citizen's right to choose to own it for a firearm for self-defense will be repealed, will be removed, will be taken away. And that effectively means that you won't be able to, in terms of law, on the face of it, carry a firearm for self-protection or self-defense purposes. So that is a huge problem, as well as restricting hunting and sporting and removing the right to collecting completely, as well as restricting business license. For instance, the whole film industry will be affected by this bill. It restricts the number of firearms that film companies can use and types of firearms that they can use. So Netflix contracts and action movies will no longer be the norm here in South Africa anymore. So the bill itself affects across the board. It's not just removing self-defense, it's really restricting the whole industry. And again, creating more law is not going to solve the problem. The problem is effective policing and going after illegal firearms, and there should be a special task force unit that goes after illegal firearms and going after the criminals. Taking away firearms or restricting firearms is not going to help. It's not going to cut down crime. Effective policing, again, is the solution. Hugo?
Now, in a statement on your website, you said that you will fight tooth and nail to resist this. And probably one of the reasons that you'll do that is that Minister Becky Cele announced that almost 5,000 people were killed in the first 3 months of 2021, including a certain number of police officers. So this obviously has got to give you reason to fight, to be able to defend yourself and certainly your membership.
Absolutely. In fact, yesterday there was a couple of news reports. One of a taxi driver, as you probably know, was quite relevant, that came to defend an Uber driver. And if it wasn't for that taxi driver carrying his firearm, that Uber driver might be dead today. And a farm in the Eastern Cape was attacked yesterday. And as he opened his door, people shot at him, and he was shot, and he had his self-defense firearm on him, and he defended himself. So absolutely, we will go to the courts if necessary. Obviously, where the bill is at the moment, just for your viewers, is the bill, the submissions have been obviously made against the bill with the Civilian Secretary for Police, and the next step is the Civilian Secretary for Police to examine thoroughly all those submissions before it goes to Parliament. So there's still a long road to travel, but we're going to be involved. We're going to make sure that we fight for the rights of law-abiding citizens to own firearms for self-defense, hunting, sport shooting, collecting, and business purposes.
Damian Eslin, Chairman of Gun Owners Association, thank you for your time this morning. And that Chairman speaking about the need, certainly for his organisation, to fight for the rights of South African citizens to choose to own a firearm, certainly for self-defence.